Alright, I get a lot of email requests on the website regarding sounds that I use for various riffs in the videos, and a lot of them are being generated by this Boss GT-10. I use this unit because it's quite versatile in the types of tones that it will allow you to generate, and also because it's quite easy just to plug it directly into a mixing desk and from there go straight into a camera. So I'm just going to take you through in this section some of the preamps and amp models that I like. To get to that, we simply press preamp here, and I'll just zoom in on the panel here. So basically what you have by turning the first dial is a series of amp models by different manufacturers and voiced differently as well. So you have like Fender type amps, Marshalls, Vox, you know, all those types, and then within each amp model you have a subcategory by turning the second dial. For example, in the rectifier we have a modern voiced distortion amp, we have a vintage voice distortion, and also a clean voiced amp. Regarding the clean tones, well, if we go back actually to the rectifier, because that does have a clean tone which I like, it's right there, so I'll just play a little bit for you. Just turn it up. Quite sparkly and quite a pure tone. I also like the Vox clean tone, which is down here. Then the JC-120 is another one that I use as well. Let's see if I can find it right there. So for clean tones I think it's quite good. It's quite a pure unit. For distortions in this section of the actual amps, there's only kind of one that I really like a lot, which would be the rectifier. It's here, either the vintage or the modern sound. They both sound quite good. So we'll start with vintage first and just turn the gain all the way up and back off the level. With these sounds I'm not using any EQ or anything at all, it just has a bit of delay, but other than that it's pretty much going directly into the camera. If we check out, say, the modern one as well, let's hear it. So that's kind of like my favorite distortion wise with those types of amp models. Another really cool feature about this unit is if I just pan back out again, we can choose, say, a clean tone. So I'll go for, say, the JC-120, and I'll just back off the gain. Okay, and then to that clean tone amp we have, let's get it back, yeah. So that's how our bass sounds. And if we go in here to the overdrive distortion section, by pressing that, and I'll zoom in again, we basically have tons and tons of pedals that we could put in front of that clean tone amp, just as if you would, as if it was kind of like a physical amp with physical pedals. So for example, in the, again on the first dial we have basic categories varying from kind of distortion pedals that will boost your signal to ones that will really saturate it with distortion, right up to kind of fuzz. So if we start, say, on the natural one here, and then we can choose subcategories within that, sort of crunch and blues, or going up to the next one. You can have warm overdrives, turbo overdrives, a tube screamer. You can also get like Marshall Governor pedals on front of it as well. Basically the full kind of Boss range. So let's just see now. So remember I have my clean tone signal, and by choosing a pedal in front of that I can choose to add kind of a crunch distortion or more saturated one. If we go up to, say, this category here, say loud, turn up the distortion. If I turn the pedal off, we're kind of back into our clean tone. distortion added. Again, there's lots of variations that you can get for different pedals. Another lead tone. So I use actually that combination more for distortions than I would the actual amp models. What I tend to do is choose a clean tone amp voicing, and then I use the actual pedals in front of it to add the distortions in. Another powerful feature of this is its EQ. So you have basically a front end EQ. I'll just exit out of here, just the same as you would on an amp with low, middle, high in your level, and so it becomes very easy just to scoop the sounds. So it's quite easy just to tweak the sounds any way you want. And there's also like a dedicated EQ. I'll just reset these back to 0. And the dedicated EQ is right here, and we have kind of lots of different pages for it. But I regard that EQ as more of something to add kind of rich harmonic content into the sound. So if I just turn off my pedal and I go back, say, into distortion, my rectifier distortion sound. It's here, okay, so I'm on the modern one, so I have my gain turned all the way up. Okay, so without my EQ set off, by engaging the EQ that I've already written for it before, it's going to get like a lot more harmonic content into it. So that's with it on. So you could hear the low end kicking in there. If I just repeat the riff, this is with it off, and then kicking it in, you can hear that it's kind of much more harmonically rich by kicking in the EQ. In the next lesson regarding the Boss GT-10, I'm going to show you how I'm using this EQ section, because it's actually a bit confusing at first when you try to work it out. But just this kind of film was just to give you an idea of how I'm generating the sounds through the Boss GT-10, which is basically, if I'm in distortion, I'm using this rectifier, either modern or vintage, and also for clean tones, either the Vox JC120 or the clean tone of the rectifier as well. And then for a lot of distortions that I use, I'm using just a clean tone amp with one of the pedals actually in front of it. So I like this these sections here where you get like lead tones and stack, modern distortion, stuff like that, and then obviously turning the drive all the way up. Now there's a lot of opportunity also to kind of dirty up a clean sound, but I tend to think that this unit is really best for clean tones or for full-on distortion. If you have something in between and you're looking for a blues tone, I don't think the unit is very good at all. At least it doesn't stand anywhere near like a proper tube amp or the dynamics or feedback that you would get from a proper tube amp. Okay, so in the next video lesson that I do, we'll go into the EQs and into the effects, so you can see how once you have your basic tone set up, how you can basically enhance it with extra harmonics and some interesting effects.